Welcome enlightened viewers to today's feature, Theresa Neumann, a breatharian who lived on the love of Jesus, on Between Master and Disciples. For over 30 years, Theresa Neumann did not eat or drink, bearing testimony to the one truth that human beings have the potential to lead a healthy and spiritual enriched life on the light of God without the need for food. Let us now journey back to Germany in the early 1900s and rediscover the amazing life of Theresa Neumann. She was born on April 9, 1898, to Ferdinand A. Taylor and his wife Anna in Connersworth, Bavaria. Her childhood centered on chores around the house under the strict but loving Christian guidance of her parents. Growing up in a modest home as the eldest of 11 children, she dreamt of traveling to Africa as a missionary. On March 10, 1918, a fire broke out in one of the homes, threatening the entire village. Theresa was there to help the animals in the barn, and then joined the volunteers who formed a bucket brigade to put out the fire. After several hours, her arm suddenly stiffened up and she fell off a stool she was standing on, sustaining severe head wounds. She was 20 years old. As a result of this accident, and a series of subsequent falls and illnesses, she eventually became blind, deaf, and paralyzed. The healthy, extremely strong, and hardworking Theresa became bedridden. In spite of treatments by doctors, her condition did not improve. Her dream as a missionary abruptly ended. Subsequently, Theresa stopped eating in 1922 due to ulcers that appeared in her throat. She only took food in the liquid form. A year later, after 4 years of blindness, she suddenly regained her eyesight. And 2 years later, in 1925, she recovered completely from her illnesses after over 6 years of suffering. This was considered a miracle, and it occurred in the presence of Father Naber, who wrote in his diary, "Theresa described a vision of great light and an extraordinary sweet voice that was asking her if she wished to be healed." Theresa gave the most surprising answer when she replied that to her it would not make any difference whether she would be healed, stay the way she is, or even die, as long as it was the will of God. The mysterious voice told her that very day she would receive a small joy, the healing of her infirmities, but that she would still have a lot of suffering to endure in her future. Right after she experienced this vision, Theresa was able to get up, take little steps, and eventually could walk again. In addition, as foretold by the vision, her life changed dramatically after this miraculous recovery. In 1926, she began to have visions of Jesus continuously until her death in 1962. While entraced in these visions, Theresa spoke in languages that she had never learned before, such as the Latin of Roman soldier. During a vision about St. Anthony in Padua, she spoke Portuguese. When she experienced the life of Bernadette Salbiro of Lourdes, she spoke in the Provençal dialect. Other languages included Hebrew, Greek, and most often Aramaic, the everyday language in Palestine during the time of Jesus. Please stay tuned to Supreme Master Television. Between Master and Disciples will return in just a moment. Welcome back to today's Between Master and Disciples. Let's continue with our feature on Theresa Neumann, a breatharian who lived on the love of Jesus. It was during the time when Theresa started to have visions about the Passion of Christ that she received the stigmata, first in the form of a wound near her heart. Taken from the Greek word stigma, which means sign or brand mark, stigmata are known as bodily marks that appear spontaneously in locations corresponding to the crucifixion wounds of Jesus. Other marks appeared on her hands, feet, and head. In the same year, Theresa completely stopped taking food. From 1922, she only consumed liquids, and eventually, a few spoonfuls of water a day, together with a consecrated paper-thin wafer the size of a coin. As word spread beyond her village, many became fascinated by her ability to live without food. People from all over, including representatives from the church, also came to observe and perform tests to see if this was true. In one instance, after placing her under careful watch for a period of time, with her and her father's consent, Professor Ewald and the church authorities confirmed that she truly lived without eating. Another scientist, Dr. Otto Buchinger, concluded in his book, Wirkliches und Wirkendes, The Real and the Workable. All honor to our science and its methods. But here, something is at work which defies rational explanation. So it seems to me, in this case, we must evidently leave the solid ground of our science and enter the realm of parapsychology, mystery, and magic. In 1953, Theresa consented to yet another test to prove that she did not need food to live. She was put under the observation of medical doctors, university professors, among others. Under oath, she gave the following statements. From Christmas 1926, I have been living entirely without any need for food and drink. For a certain length of time, I tried to take liquid food, yet I had to vomit all of it. So I stopped the attempt. Already since Christmas 1922 until this day, swallowing the host of Holy Communion in my usual condition causes great discomforts. She also stated her conviction that she lives by the sacramental Savior. He is within me. This conviction was understood and confirmed by Paramahansa Yogananda, the founder of the Self-Realization Fellowship in California, who visited her in 1935. In his book, Autobiography of a Yogi, Yogananda wrote that he had always wanted to meet Theresa, whom he has viewed as a saint that does not eat. When he finally met her in the home of Professor Wurz in Eichstätt, Yogananda described her as a woman who radiated an aura of peace and joy. Even though at the time she was 37, she seemed much younger, possessing indeed a childlike freshness and charm. Healthy, well-formed, rosy-cheeked, and cheerful. After agreeing to answer his questions, she admitted that she did not eat anything other than a consecrated rice flour wafer for sacramental reasons. She explained that the reason why she was able to survive like that was because she lived by God's light, to which Yogananda replied, I see you realize that energy flows to your body from the ether, sun, and air. He further commented, your sacred life is a daily demonstration of the truth uttered by Christ. Man shall not live by bread alone, but every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. Seeing that he understood, Theresa joyously replied, one of the reasons I am here on earth today is to prove that man can live by God's invisible light and not by food alone. Conversations with two of her brothers revealed that she was very kind and amiable. She slept only 1 or 2 hours a night, and in spite of the wounds in her body, as a result of the stigmata, she was always energetic and very active. She also loved birds, and many Catholic devotees had been cured of serious illnesses through her prayers and healing blessings. After meeting and witnessing her unique lifestyle of living by God's invisible light, her trances and weekly stigmata that appeared while she was experiencing the Passion of Christ, Yogananda concluded, her strange life is intended by God to reassure all Christians of the historical authenticity of Jesus' life and crucifixion as recorded in the New Testament, and to dramatically display the ever-living bond between the Galilean master and his devotees. Karl Strater, under the order of the Bishop of Ratisbon, to study and examine Theresa's life, reached a similar conclusion. The significance of Theresa Neumann's fasting is to make the world understand that Christ is actually present in the bread of the Eucharist, and through the Holy Eucharist, physical life can actually be preserved. How could she live without food? What sustained her and provided the necessary nourishment? During a discussion at an international gathering with our association members, Supreme Master Ching Hai touched on the topic of breatharianism and explained how Theresa was able to live without eating food.
Only a few people are truly pranic people, like they don't eat anything at all. They don't even drink. They live on the chi from the ground or from the forest, and from the sun and from the air. They make use of all that. Or they live on love, on faith alone. And some people like Theresa Neumann, yes, she lives on love of Jesus.
For over 30 years, Theresa placed her complete faith and devotion in Jesus Christ, living solely on her love of Jesus without the need for food. By the time she passed away in Connersworth in 1962, thousands of people all over the world had visited and witnessed her unique food-free lifestyle that depended only on God for nourishment.
For more details, please visit www.suprememastertv.com/BMD.